by skipping the next size. And what I mean by this is when you right click on this, when you right click on that to change the scan range, you'll see 32, 16, 18. With bad scanning skills, you would have to go from 32 to 16. But with good scanning skills, you can skip that, head straight to 8, and skip a step and make it a lot quicker for yourself. So now we're going to make sure it's accurate again, because now that we're down lower, it will make it a little bit uncentered. And we want to move things so that, just the way we did when we first started, just so that these outer rings go across that box. And here we go one more time. Now we have a basic idea of where it is, and we're going to hit analyze one more time. This should allow us to get a much better. Before it was about 2% at 32 AU. We're looking for 6 to 10% at 8 AU, because you want it to double. At every single one, you want it to at least double. So say you start off at 1% at 32, you want it to be 2% by 16, 4% by 8, and so on. 8 by 4, 16 by 2. So every time you go down, it's supposed to double. And whereas we're going down twice, it's supposed to quadruple. So where we started out with 2%, we want to get it to at least 8 to 12. And so we're going to scan it one more time on this size by further collapsing our probes into the center. Same thing as I did before. I'm going to touch that back arrow. Actually, let me clarify something as well really quick. These two different these two different cosmic signatures are the same thing. You will see them both here. As long as they have the same ID number, they're the same. What happened was, because these things overlap in more than one space, it actually picked it up here as well as the bottom. So it's either here or here. What we're going to do is, I'm actually usually choose the top one. That's generally where it's more accurate. So I'm going to move this probe up until it's level with that. And just theoretically, if I was to scan here and the scan signature got weaker or anything, I would just move it back down to around the area where that was, where the other signature marker was, and it would recapture the strength. And since we moved our two top and bottom probes in, we also have to move these probes in. And since I zoomed out a little bit, I'm actually going to zoom out just enough to where they all meet there. Okay, and then move this one like that. Hit analyze again. Perfect. We are at exactly what I was hoping, 12.33%. So now we want to move it. Just make sure it's centered one more time for our next level. And then, just like we did before, because it's staying near the center and not jumping left or right, we can right click, go from 8 AU to 2 AU. Also, if you zoom in further, you'll notice that relative to the larger space, you're actually not as close as you thought you were to that. So if you zoom in quite a bit, you can move this until it's much more perfectly placed. And perfectly placing it is not always necessary, especially not when the scan signature originally starts above 1%. It's more necessary when it's a 10-10. And how that basically, having it as accurate as possible makes it so you're not going to get stuck at 98%, which is very annoying. And now, just like we did at 32 AU and at 8 AU, we're going to make sure that all these are going to match up again. And we're going to scan one more time. I do apologize for the length of the video. I pretty much just wanted to make a video, for dummies style. Basically, you've never done this in your life, and it's just something you wanted to do, so I'm trying to take it step by step. For more experienced players, you can skip around if you want, if you're just trying to check out my particular method. Now again, we have the same situation, 2 different points. It doesn't matter which one you choose. This time I'll choose the bottom one, as long as they're both the same ID, just like I said before. That means it's the same plex, just you're taking 2 different points of view from it. So that's just a result of how much overlapping is going on. If you use 7 probes, that can actually get even worse, and they can be a bit more spread out. Now, this should be the last one on this size, so we're going to analyze one more time. And if you've noticed, every single step that I took down, I analyzed twice. I analyzed once with the center, once in, one more close, and that allows me to skip 2 more after that. Okay, so this is an important step. We've passed 25%. When you pass 25%, it will let you know what the group name is. In this case, it's unknown. If you pass 25% and it says radar, just like before, we know what a radar is. It's a code breaking site. If it said magnetometric here, it would be analyzing or salvaging, gravimetric mining, LiDAR, gas mining. In this case, it's unknown, which means it's either a plex or a wormhole. So it's either money or just a random thing in the middle of space. So now I want to make sure that this is centered again by zooming in a little bit. I'm going to zoom in a lot actually, just to make sure I got it. Come out here. So you notice it's up here, so what we want to do actually is move it closer. And we're going to go down 2 more sizes, so from 2.0 AU down to 0.5. If you use this method, you should probably never hit 0.25 unless it is a 10 of 10, in which case sometimes you will hit that. And if you see this little thing right here and you're wondering what it is, it's actually a bookmark. I already scanned this one down. I was looking for something so I could show you guys on, so it's a good one. And I'll actually get rid of that bookmark because it's going to annoy the crap out of me. Okay, so we'll open the map back up. You see you don't see any of the probes because it's pretty small, but you see the arrows over here. Drag it back. Ugh. Okay, and also if you're wondering how I'm zooming in, if you're having an issue with that, there's 2 different ways to do it. One, if you have a mouse with a tracker in the middle, the little scroll wheel, you can move that towards you to zoom in, move it away to zoom out. Myself, I have a trackball. I hold both buttons at once, that's right and left click, and then drag it back and forth and it'll zoom in and out. That's very good to know because you need that a lot, especially once you start getting smaller sizes. Okay, so now that we've moved all these, going to do the same thing as before. Line them all up with that outer side of the box. Gets kind of repetitive after a while, but once you finally find that one you've been looking for, it's very worth it. So just keep with it. That's the biggest thing with plexing. People think that they're going to be able to hop into a system and automatically find a 1010. It does happen with some people, but 99% of the population, it's not going to happen. You got to keep looking. So the biggest tip I can give you is just persistence. Alright, now we're good. We can hit that. Alright, actually at this point at 0.5 AU we've actually hit it on the mark. Signal strength is 100%. It gives me the name of the plex here. You can search that in Google to find out details. The details you will always want to look for are what kind of tank you will need. With Serpentis, obviously it's kinetic and thermal, but the important part is whether you need to active tank or passive tank it. So when you look in Google for the details on the plex, normally it'll bring up a website called Evolopedia. That one's really good for it. And it'll tell you if there's any neutralizer towers, things that get rid of your cap. If that's the case, obviously you can't go in active tanked, meaning you depend on your cap to stay alive. Normally Nighthawks work fantastically, passive tanked. Tengus also work fantastically, and passive Ishtars are what people mostly use. So, and also you'll notice that now this little cosmic signature in the middle is green. So now you're ready to go. You're ready to do it. Kill everything, make your money. Always remember to recover active probes. Then hit map, right click, bookmark. Always bookmark it because normally you're going to have to leave system to go and get your ship. Bookmark it. When you come back you'll be able to warp to it just like any other bookmark. And if you guys like the vid, if the video helped you out, just go ahead and send this guy right here, Aeolus. Go ahead and send him however much money you want. 10 million is recommended, but more or less that's fine. And yes, thank you very much, and you guys, I hope you make some money.